Greetings and salutations, comic book conversationalists. This is Comic Book Hangover once again, and second consecutive week. So it looks like maybe I'll be able to start doing these on a regular weekly basis again. We've had no major disasters this week. There's been no fires. There's been no excessive heat. There's been no major raging storms. There's been nothing like that. About the only thing that's happened is today we found out that it looks like I'm going to be having surgery on my ankle in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, whenever. It's getting set up next week, and we're going to go from there. So there's going to be some surgerification of that, and it's going to require some weeks, months, whatever, of recovery. The point is my ankle won't be hurting anymore, and by this time next year, and actually hopefully by the beginning of next summer, I'll be back at 100%, which I guarantee I will be, and I'll be able to go out and ride bikes with my kids and go swimming with them and go hiking and do all that stuff again with my kids that I wasn't able to do this year, and I feel really bad about. But next year, next summer, we're going to be back. That will be back, and we're in a place where it's supposed to be. So I'm hoping that means it leads into other things, like, you know, maybe we'll have a home that we can call our own by this time next year. It'd be great. But anyway, that aside, and that little personal notification there aside, let's talk about the books that I picked up this week, this final week of August 2023. You start off with the final issue of Danny Ketch Ghost Rider #4. Apparently this didn't have any variant covers, so that was kind of odd, but you know, whatever, it is what it is. So and regardless, that's still a really sweet cover. I love seeing the Ghost Rider that got me into comic books on a comic book cover again, and he's fighting Johnny Blaze. It's all 90s goodness all over again. We have the third issue of the Weapons of Vengeance crossover between Ghost Rider and Wolverine. This is Wolverine #36. I picked up the variant cover. I kind of like this cover a little bit better than the standard cover, which was this, I think it's Helverine is what they're calling it. But it's Helverine. He's got his claws, you know, crisscrossed, sort of a generic pose. So this right here, this looked a lot better to me than the standard cover, so I had to grab that one. That's a sweet, sweet cover. From DC, one book, and this one I almost missed because I didn't put it on my poll list. This is Wonder Woman #1. This is the 1987 issue, a facsimile reprint. Now, I always like to point out when I pick up a Marvel facsimile edition, I like to point out how you tell the difference between an original and a facsimile. DC does things a little bit differently. In Marvel, they do the UPC, the price, and they even put their the current Marvel logo somewhere on the cover. DC doesn't really seem to do that. Instead, pretty much the only way to tell the difference between a DC facsimile and an original is you're going to have to be very, very careful and look at that cover price. This is a modern day price, $3.99 for a comic. Wonder Woman #1 back in 1987 did not have a $3.99 cover price. So I'm looking forward to checking this out. This is one of those covers that you see, you know, all over the place. You see this cover, and I know I've seen it, you know, pretty cheap in some places, but I just never really been much of a Wonder Woman fan, so I never picked it up. But I want to check it out. I think it'd be a good read. I think I'm going to enjoy it. Speaking of women, Elvira in Monsterland, I am going to pick up the cover variant, because I get the regular cover, one of the regular covers, and the photo cover every issue in a Elvira book. This one here, this is the regular cover that I picked up. Got a giant mech, almost said mech Godzilla, a giant mech Elvira fighting a giant monster in a city and destroying everything. And this is the sort of stuff that you would see on TV back in the time, because you've got the boob tube right there. There you go. Some Elvira goodness. I love it. Now, speaking of Godzilla, we did get a Godzilla book this week. Godzilla Rivals versus Space Godzilla. Space Godzilla isn't a character that they've really used a whole lot. I actually got into a short conversation with somebody down at my LCS, and at first I was thinking this might be the first time they've used Space Godzilla in these comics, but then we thought about it, like, well, seems like during the Rulers of the Earth storyline, they may have used them then, because in that storyline they started pulling in the space monsters, Gigan and Orga and some of the others. So he might have been in it, if not in the background, but he may have been in it somewhere. All right, so there's that. And the last one I picked up is a trade paperback. Excuse me. And this is from Dark Horse Comics. I think, yeah, it's Dark Horse Comics that does these now. This is Weird Science, EC Archives, Volume 2. Now, I never really read the science fiction stories from EC Comics, but with these collections here, I can't help but do that. They look amazing. You've got some great coloring inside. And again, there's people that have complained about the coloring. I've compared these Archives editions to the hardcover collected editions that they've done previously. The previous, let me reword that, the previous hardcover archive editions, and the coloring looks exactly the same to me. So to me, there's no difference. They look great. The stories are still amazing. I'm very interested in checking these out. Pretty sure I have Volume 1. I just haven't had a chance to read them yet, but I am going to be reading them. Actually, I might have time to read these things because with my upcoming surgery, there's going to be a 2-week period where I have to be off my feet regardless of what's going on. I got to be off my feet. So I'm going to have a stack of my trades, a stack of books at my side while everybody's out doing whatever it is they're doing, and I'm stuck at home, recovering, convalescing, whatever. So I will be getting caught up on these, and maybe I'll be able to do some reviews on these sort of things, which would be kind of fun, actually. I'm looking forward to being able to do that. Now, before we wrap this up and move on to reading these books, let's do the cover of the week, and it's gonna have to be this one here. This is an amazing cover. So we're gonna do this. Wolverine number 36 variant is going to be my cover for the week. There we go. There's that. And once again, we are nearing, I think this is, I could be wrong. I don't remember my numbering very well, but I think this is number 194 of my weekly haul video. So we're just a couple of weeks, about a month and a half or so away from the big 200. So the big 200 again. And I'll say this, I don't know if I'm going to remind you guys of this every episode, but I'm going to do this from time to time. Starting with 200, the videos are going to get moved to Saturday. It's because I want to be able to read my books and do some quick reviews like I used to. So it's going to be the weekly haul, weekly review video. So it's going to be Saturday, and the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want to have any spoilers in my videos that's going to ruin anything for my fellow comics fans. I hate doing spoilers. I have no interest in being the first person to have a video with this breaking story about these, this amazing thing that happened in these books. I can wait a couple of days to do that, because I want everybody to be able to enjoy your books fresh, with no spoilers, and enjoy the surprises to their fullest. So my video is going to be getting switched to Saturdays so I can do some quick reviews as well. And that's going to start with weekly haul number 200. So it's weird that it's at 200. But anyway, that said, we're going to wrap this up. I hope everybody had a great weekend and everybody had a great new comic book day. I had a blast, although I found out that I'm going to have surgery. Whatever, I'm still having a good time. And we'll get through this just like we get through everything else in life. You know what I mean? So I hope everybody had a great new comic book day this weekend coming up. Have an amazing weekend. Stay safe. Read some great books. And I'll see everybody next week with another stack of comic books. See you later.